Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Andy with Integrity Data Insights, and I help other companies with their reporting and their analytics needs. And I'm thrilled to have my guest with me today, David Turner, who has a business called Turner Process Solutions. So thank you so much for joining me today, David.
No, thanks for having me. This is great. That was funny. I'm like trying to cry. It was so funny when we were talking. Sorry, behind, but no, it's great to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us about what is Turner Process Solutions? What do you do? I love your whatever that your little tagline there, automate or die. I love that.
Automate or die. I got stickers too. Um, but no, we do process improvements. So we're focused on process efficiency, and ultimately efficiency improvements lead to automation. And so we do a lot of in the pipe process automation like valves, PLCs, and controls on that side. And then we do some outside the pipe processing like material handling, robotics, discrete manufacturing. So it's a little
Awesome.
bit of everything.
So yeah, this is exciting. I mean, and some people might be thinking, why would I have, why would I, I talk to various people, so it's I love always the difference, but I think the manufacturing, couple of reasons why I wanted to talk to you too was I've had some clients in the manufacturing space and I just love it. I mean, it's cool. You walk around, you could kind of see what they're, you get to see the floor of what's going on. You see kind of I don't know, there's certain kind of magic in that environment. Some people would be turned off by, but I was kind of like, this is cool. This is where it's at. Tell us maybe just, I mean, those of us like, me included that aren't as familiar with that space. I mean, what's the environment like? Kind of what are these companies, what's it like for them? What are they facing? Just anything you could share would be
Well,
great.
yeah, I think well, the biggest thing everyone's facing in the industry right now in manufacturing is lack of labor. That's huge. So what we're focused on right now is automating for labor processes. Just anything that we can do to one, we'll do a process audit and decide, well, is this step even needed? Like maybe we can reorient the processes so you don't need a person here to do this job. Maybe that's something we can reassign, or do it automated or robotics wise. I mean, the last step in any process is to automate. First, you got to improve the efficiency. So I think that's what we're focused on, especially
Yeah.
around labor and manpower. If we can remove a shift because they can't find anyone for third shift anyways, so let's go ahead and improve your efficiency so you don't need a third shift. That one, and fixes the labor issue, keeps everyone you got employed, makes them more valuable, and also saves you money. And ultimately, the goal is it's sustainable because now you've made more with the same amount of carbon footprint, and you're putting money in your pocket. So that's kind of our mantra to sustainability is, automation and improve efficiency improvements make you more sustainable.
Huh. So has it gotten any better after? I know obviously with COVID, that was all the labor problems. Has it gotten any better or is it still?
It's still the same. What's gotten better is actually automation. There's been so many innovations in the past 4 years post COVID, and I think a lot of that, and even I'm still learning. But I think that's where a lot of people are struggling in the industry is they don't know what they don't know. So they don't
Right.
know that those robots right there can they can do a lot, and they can go into a small area and be safe. You don't need monster cages anymore with cobots.
Right. And is it like, you know, I'm sure it's all over the map, so I'm not trying to box you into it, but it's like with manufacturing, I guess, is a lot of it smaller kind of companies or I mean, I'm sure there's the huge conglomerates, but a lot of the ones you work with, are they kind of more small or mid-size or
Well, so the huge conglomerates still each individual plant, like John Deere or those major manufacturers, each
right.
plant is their own entity. So each plant kind of is treated like a small manufacturer, small medium manufacturer. So if we talk to someone at the corporate level, they'll direct us to the people at the site level, and that's really where we kind of we help out. We did a couple of jobs with some automotive companies, but the major companies, but each plant's small. So our focus is on these individual facilities because they know what they have an immediate need, and we can really hit well and help out with immediate needs.
Right, that's awesome. Um, Tell us a little bit about lean manufacturing. I know a little bit about it, obviously. A part of my in my MBA, we kind of covered some of it too, and I've talked to other people. Just maybe give us a little highlight of people that don't know what it is or why it's important.
Oh, well, lean manufacturing is really focused on reducing waste, and reducing downtime. The biggest, the first step in any lean is 5S, which is basically sort. Um, a, ooh, I forget the
It's
acronym
all
again,
right.
but it's basically clean up your process, standardize your process, and maintain that clean organization. Because that's how you don't get paid to look for tools. You get paid to produce a product. So you want to have everything line side for any discrete manufacturing so that you're majority of your time is spent producing versus searching, or restocking. So that's really a focus, is that part of it. The other part of it is that's part of reducing waste as well and downtime. But the other piece is reducing steps and motion. So if like you got a big
Yeah,
facility, you don't want to like run back and forth.
I do remember this was, and this may not be lean specific, but I remember as part of an exercise, and when I worked for a big company, and they would bring us in these workshops, and kind of cool thing was like you'd map out a process and every step, and then I think you'd mark it if I forgot what it was, but like if it's not adding value or if it's not like improving the customer experience, like you'd put a red X through it or something, then you could kind of
Hmm.
see how much like the amount of steps that really mattered was like very small.
Oh,
uh,
absolutely, absolutely. That's a
so
big focus of it, is sorting, then putting it in place, setting an order, and cleaning, shine, standardize that process across everyone's work cells, and then sustain that process. Because if processes change or manufacturing changes, and you want to make sure that you change your 5S process changes with it, so you're always maximizing that in process value.
and are people kind of open to it? I mean, I know a lot of people are like, "This is the way we've always done it. We're not doing it different." I mean, is it? Do people kind of
Well,
resist change?
no, they're not. Like everyone's on board on the front end when you tell them this is what it's going to do. But it's a lot of work up, and then it comes down. Like, so the initial steps, and that's where we that initial change, and the initial effort to get us to make any gains out of lean manufacturing is a lot of work up front. What we've done is we've actually have a kind of a smaller approach. We call it the lean sprint. And basically what
Yeah,
we'll do is we'll do a 1 week audit, and we'll pick out some very discrete areas where we can find immediate results. And we'll hit those results, and we'll get those processes, and that sprint really helps people see results immediately. Traditional lean takes months.
yeah,
So what we've done is we've kind of truncated that by focusing on super low hanging fruit, or easy wins, and quick results. And so we can really hit those hard on a lot of manufacturing, and see some gains immediately. But traditional lean is a lot of work over a long period of time before you see a lot of gains.
right. Wow, I
So
love
from a
that though.
change, yeah, from a
So is
change
it kind of like
standpoint, people don't.
when you sorry about that, David. Is it when you kind of go in? I mean, is it kind of like you immediately can kind of sense where the waste is, or kind of where, or I love that you kind of
Well,
take that approach of kind of observing and
well, there's yes and no. I mean, there's some plants that you walk in the place, and you immediately can see, like you see. I've spent 20 years in manufacturing, from anything from oil and gas to refineries, PSM environments, stuff that'll kill you. all the way to animal feed. So I've been across those areas. So when I walk into a facility, there's certain things that over 20 years of experience you pick up on immediately. Air compressors are huge. Steam boilers and steam traps are huge. Those are any utility is going to be a win. Anything you can pick up off of those. So we have tools that we can use for those as well. But then
Like
processing wise,
saving money on energy, you mean, or
yes, yep, yeah. Energy savings are huge because those pay you back every month.
right? Yeah. So tell us about, like, I know kind of in chatting with you earlier, you kind of do a mix of, like, sometimes you got to fix something immediately, and somebody will kind of come for, but I think what you really love doing is kind of designing kind of the process, and kind of improving aspect of it, the proactive kind of nature of it. Maybe walk us through kind of your thought process. I know you gave us a little bit of a hint towards it already. But and
Uh,
you I love your one saying where you kind of saying, it's just because something's working doesn't mean it isn't broken, right?
right. Yeah. That redefine what broken is. What does broken mean? I think that's a big one. Plants have been around for 50, 60 years, and they've got 40 to 50-year-old equipment in them. Technologies have changed. Even the drying process has changed over 40 years. Typically, what we see is that over those time periods, either the process has changed, the 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 process is degraded, the process equipment's degraded,
Hmm.
or the product has changed. And I think that's a big piece of it. Is you're running equipment, you're running reactors, you're running burners, you're running dryers, you're running conveyors uh, with the product you started with, the processes and timings that you started with, but your product has changed. So now what's happened is all these
Okay.
temperatures, all these sensors, all these pressures, they're giving you correct results for your old product. Your new product is different and it needs to be run differently. And
I
so that's
see.
that's that's what we can do with like a longer term engagement is we can actually go through and we can optimize the process for the product you're making today. And that's what we've seen a lot of is people have changed over 40 years in the business and their process hasn't. And that's where a lot of wins come from is people don't know what they don't know. And if you're stuck in tunnel vision because you've been doing it, and it's not to say that your way is wrong. It's just
Right.
things are better now, and that's where we can come in and really help, especially smaller manufacturers. Have some big wins as reevaluating what they do today versus what they used to do 40 years ago.
I love that too. And it's probably just having people have told me this before, kind of in, like, kind of as a consultant, sometimes, like, the most valuable thing is, like, just the outside perspective, like, you can
Hmm.
kind of see it a different way, because sometimes if it's like, it's hard to see it, like you said, the blinders are
Right,
like, if you've always done it that way, it's hard to see, somebody else could point something out, like, "Wait a minute, why didn't we think of that?" But
right,
it's
exactly. And I think what really meshes with what kind of ties us together is data. A lot of stuff you don't know without the data. And what we've seen in some of our projects that we've executed is we're adding SCADA, we're adding supervisor control and data acquisition systems to the plant floor so they can actually run real-time data. They know what the process is doing. So old school, you get a sheet of paper, you get a little sheet of paper, you write down the process values, and then those go on a report, and that gets filed away, never to be seen again, unless there's a recall. Versus historized data on a computer screen where you can watch trends, and trends don't lie. I mean, you can tell exactly what's going on in a process, and then you can also help define what additional sensors or what additional instrumentation you need to make your process better. Like if you're running temperature all the time, but oh, I need a pressure sensor now because pressure and temperature are tied together. So now we can, and that allows you to know more about your process and make better database decisions.
you're speaking my language now. This is
Well,
great.
well, what happens is people like, they get into this mindset where, they're focused and they know, well, the operators know which knobs and which buttons to press, and they're very successful at that to make a product. Well, that those people that have been doing it for 35 years are retired. You've got someone in there 1 year, hopefully 2 years, maybe, that is running that process. They know which buttons to press, but they don't know why. They were never trained why, because the guy retired before they got hired. That's been what that brain drain that we've heard about for
Yeah.
10 years. And so coming into those areas, we can add value by adding data acquisition, and now we can
Yeah.
see the process.
I love that. I think you mentioned before, not to mention all the name, but there's like some products that you basically, you said it's kind of like a data historian, right? Is that what it's?
Right.
So they put it on their process, and then they can kind of see, it kind of keeps track of, like you said, instead of the pen and paper, it's doing it. And
Right.
for what is it? Is it a huge? Is it a what
Oh,
is it
it's
involved for the manufacturers to kind of get start? Say I owned a manufacturing company, and is it a huge effort to get to that, or is it something
it
you could kind of
depends.
purchase and
It really depends, because you've got to have a way to get data. So if you have no automation whatsoever, then there's a larger effort, because you've got to add sensors. If you already have
okay,
automation and you already have the electronics in place, sensors, sensing technologies, but it's on an old system that, say, it's pre-Ethernet. Anything pre-Ethernet is gonna take a little bit of effort, because you've got to get it onto the network to be able to see the data.
right,
So, but if you've got something that's fairly new and it's Ethernet based, then you can take that and throw it into the Ethernet on the premises, on-prem, what we call on-prem servers,
right,
and you get the data, and you start historizing immediately. Like, literally, you map the data tags to trends, and now you're watching your process.
wow,
And depending on the level of effort of what we're doing, it could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months, or even longer, depending on how big the process is, um, to get that data in. We're actually historizing data off of an old Honeywell right now, but it happened to be Ethernet based, so we could get the data fairly quickly. We're looking at getting off some Siemens. So there's a plant that and this what we're using today is called Ignition, um, and it's a great process, because it's you pay a license for the server, but all the clients are free, so you can have as many people watching this process as possible,
okay,
and then get whatever data, whatever tags they want off of it. You just you hand it over, and that unlimited license really helps out, you know, the purchasing person, because they can watch your inventory. It helps out packaging, because they can watch your inventory and product. It helps out production, because they can watch all the sensing, all the sensors, and your product efficiency. It helps out quality, because now they can watch all your data, and they can see when you're going out of spec, and so it helps out everyone.
yeah,
And it's real time and customizable reports. So you can make a report for everyone, because not everyone wants to see what time it started. They just care about what the average temperature across the process, or something like that, or how many boxes per hour you produce. I mean, that's everyone's thing, is they want to improve that pounds out the door, is what we used to call it.
okay, yeah, this is fascinating stuff. Um, yeah, because just a little plug, I guess, for what I do is and tell me if this is wrong, but I think this is where I would fit in is kind of what I do with business intelligence stuff is so even if you had that, nothing against, not trying to downplay what that thing, huge, 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 right? What you're
Hmm.
talking about, massive. But then kind of what people come to me for is they're like, well, once they have that, they're like, yeah, that's great, but I need to really tie it to my revenue data, or I need to tie it to
Hmm.
my QuickBooks. So kind of what I do is, I guess, with business intelligence is it's more of like a tying together systems that don't talk to each other. But that's kind of a next step. You have to kind of do what
Right.
you said first to,
Hmm.
wow. But I
Yeah.
love that. I mean,
Everything. Go
are a
ahead.
lot of people embracing that?
No.
Not as many as you
No,
should, right?
yeah, not as many as you should ever. I think a lot of it comes down to change, and not knowing what they don't know. And we've seen it. We've seen somewhere it's you're messing up their house. You're
Yeah.
telling their baby's ugly. And it's nothing against them. It's just times have changed, and that's what we find is a lot of you know, and we really got to dig in with the operators. We got to dig in with the plant management, because those people are the ones that will make or break a process. And so getting their buy-in to help them make those database decisions and improve their process, because you improve a process, you improve everyone's efficiency, you make their jobs easier, better, and more secure. And I think that's where we focus on is, securing everyone's job. But what you're talking about is absolutely true. Is that we like SCADA is operations based, 100% operations based. So like production based, manufacturing based. On the other side of that, the MES process to bring it and tie it into your ERP system, your business analytics, your um, your money,
Right.
tie it into the money.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's where ignition kind of, we're focused on production, and then tying it to the money is that next level
Right.
piece of it.
No, but I mean, super. Yeah, that's amazing though. I mean, if imagine what you could do with the power of data is it's pretty
Hmm.
amazing. Do you have any
Oh
kind
yeah.
of success stories to share? Not necessarily with data, but just in general, like kind of, process that you guys worked on that you improved and
Well,
kind of what the difference
there's
was?
yeah, I think a big part of what we've done is, there's a process that was, it was an old plant. It was a drying facility, and they were drying it like a product they had 20 years ago. Well, the product changed, and it was a different base material. So the drying process, we could actually run it differently, and improve the product output, because they're running it at a more temperature sensitive product line, and their new product wasn't as temperature sensitive, so we could run the heat hotter.
Okay.
And it actually, averted multi-million-dollar new dryer project by just running it hotter and faster, and getting more product out the door. We actually improved it about 30 to 40%.
Wow.
Pushing off the multi-million-dollar dryer spend. But yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
that's
great.
it's stuff like that where they've always run it that way, so and get your blinders on, and they ran it very well for the old process, but the product changed. So let's reevaluate exactly what you're doing completely, because
Right.
the parameters can change if product changes. And we've seen it the other way too, where product is more sensitive, so we've got to run it lighter. I think we ran into a process where you know they wanted to improve quality. Well, okay, so we're looking at this process to improve quality, and basically it came down to screener sizes, um, and so those improvements we could actually make, but it really slowed down the process. So it was a quality improvement versus production improvement, and that's a lot of what we do is which way can we go? So let's improve both. Well, you can't sometimes. There's different equipment out there you got to evaluate, but so there's a lot of ways to do that. I think some of the discrete manufacturing opportunities we've seen is adding robots to machine tending. So you've got an operator that stands at a machine, and he watches it, and he pulls out parts and puts in parts, like
Yeah.
just different machine tending applications. And that's where the cobots come into place. Is you can put a cobot there, and it can pick up a part and put it in a machine all day. So now it frees up that operator to bring parts in, or produce, or pull parts off the line. Quality checks he can do on the line now, versus having to wait for quality to come through, because now he's not standing there waiting on the part to come out the machine. The collaborative robots pulling those out for him. So it really opens up the opportunities to do some line side quality, to improve your quality processes overall, versus, oh, we only have time really to do 1 out of 10. Well, now we can do 100% inspection, because that person's freed up to do the additional tasks.
Right, and plus, like what you were saying, when the person, with a labor, people not being able to hire somebody, that's gotta be huge. Is it
Mhm.
kind of, I guess, from a layman's point of view, back in the day, it was probably like robotics was probably reserved for these, the gigantic Toyota, kind of companies? Is it, is it accessible for a
It
more
really is.
mid-sized company?
It really is. I mean, with collaborative robots, like this that robot is it's 30 grand. I mean, it's super cheap. You're not looking at 200 to $1 million to install a robot anymore. You can do them really, really inexpensively, and that price, technology's come a long way, and pricing has come a long way, such that we can deploy these more rapidly for a lower cost than pre-COVID. Like post-COVID, robotics and automation has really come a long way. I mean, AMRs, which are uh, autonomous mobile robots, so little carts with robotic arms have come out. So now you can pick and place with
Yeah.
robotics. Now you can have a line wire forklift so they can come across, pick up your pallets and put them in storage for you. So you're really automating those processes much more effectively and for a lower cost. Like we have our oboe, which is our robotics line that we rep. We can have a palletizer, 25 kg palletizer installed in a day for
Wow.
$75,000. And all it'll do, it'll pick up boxes and palletize boxes all day, every day, 365 days a year.
Wow. That's what I was going to ask you with the robotics. Is there a lot of setup time? Like once obviously purchasing is one thing, but then having someone like yourself or whatever configure it, is it a decent time? Like how much time would they be to kind of get up and running with a
It really
typical?
depends. It really depends. I mean, from a robotic standpoint, it could. There's a lot of companies out there. Obviously, we like the oboe, but it's they have graphical user interfaces where it's basically Python, or it's function blocks where you just plug it in and
Yeah.
pictures. It's almost like Node-RED, but it's super easy to program. Palletizing wise, they have a software out there where you plug in the box size, you plug in the pickup height, you plug in the pallet size, and it'll tell you exactly what configurations to run
Oh,
or what you
wow.
can run, and you go 90 inches high, so you can stack a really tall pallet with the 25 kg, and they also have a 30 kg for like 200,000 or something. I know 100,000. I'm sorry, $100,000 coming
Wow.
out. So really, I mean, you're deploying these in less than a day, but they did a lot of back end work. So all you have to, makes it easy on the
Right.
on us to install these in a day. Just throw some safety cages or some area sensors around, and you're off and running.
It's got to be a game changer. Wow. I mean, imagine like, wow. I just can't imagine the improvement that makes.
Oh, absolutely. And I think from our side, palletizing and collaborative robots and palletizing it's half the price it used to be. It's double the value, because now you don't need a robotics technician to update the software. Like if your box size changes, you go in, operators can change the box size and throw it back in and be palletizing in 5 minutes. So it's
Right.
super easy. So it's really come a long way on that side of it.
I like the
And
acronym. What is it? Clobotics? Cobotics?
Cobot, yeah, collaborative robots, cobots.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That's a great,
Oh, and
um,
and and not only are they cheap though, they're also helping out ergonomically. So you know, FedEx and Amazon, they don't let their people. I think FedEx, people who unload trucks only unload trucks for 3 years, because after 3 years, your back injuries are increased.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, you're doing the same repetitive motion. Let a cobot do it. Let's save those ergonomics so that you're not hurting the people. Um,
yeah,
because that's
absolutely.
huge. I mean, that takes people out of the workforce for life. Um, so let's
Yeah,
let's focus on those.
I love it. One of my last questions, I guess, is just let's talk Industry 4.0. You hear a lot about it. Just love to hear your thoughts on it. What is it? I think I have an idea, but I'd love from somebody that probably knows more than I do. But what is it? What is the buzz about? And
Well,
what?
yeah, I was gonna say it's automation. It's automation and data. Like Industry 4.0 is really that Internet of Things idea deployed
Mhm.
to the level that you can throw it into your business analytics tools and make money, improve it.
Right.
So that it's really digitizing your manufacturing data, digitizing the operations so that you can make better decisions. You can watch the process more efficiently, and you can, you know, basically tie it to the money because I mean, we're all working to support families and make
Right.
money. I mean, so if you're not making money, you're not adding value, and if you're not adding value, you don't have a
Like,
job.
right, you're not gonna be around. It's like, isn't the 4.0 is kinda like the supposed to be like the 4th industrial revolution? Is that kinda what it refers to?
Yes, I think there's whispers of an Industry 5.0, but and that's really where it's data visualization from a augmented reality standpoint. I mean, they have tools out there now where your digital twin. I'm sure you've heard of digital twin, where
Yeah, super cool.
yeah, that's next level. I've been doing some research on that to see if that like that's for major manufacturers and brand new processes. What we're looking at is, we're trying to, we gotta was it crawl before you can
Yeah,
walk, before you
exactly.
can
Yep.
run? Well, 4.0 is walking. 5.0 is that sprint, you know. But
Yeah,
no, the industry 4.0 is, we're working with clients now that are, hey, let's pull out this process and let's add some automation. Like we're still at that place where it's pulling out people and adding automation, improving those areas first. So we're still on that. Let's get the data, and then we can now see what the data says.
yeah, it's very similar to what I run into it in my line of work. It's kinda like, there's a bunch of different stages of analytics, and, like, everybody's goal is to get to the end stage where it's basically, you're kinda using the data to kinda tell you what to do. But then, I work with a lot of people and, that they're on the very beginning stages, right? They don't have some of the basics down, and it's okay, that's how it goes. But
Hmm.
yeah, you kind of have to work your way up, right? Because you're not going to immediately be able to just jump to the end and
Right.
be able to.
Absolutely.
So, well, David, I've really enjoyed our time together. What's the best way for someone to get a hold of you, or if they want to learn more about what you do?
They can look us up at turnerprocess.com. We're also on LinkedIn, Turner Process Solutions. Myself, David Turner. I'm obviously the face of the business. But that's those are the best ways. We can also get an email at solutions@turnerprocess.com. So, but LinkedIn is probably the best way.
All right. Well, David, best wishes to you. I think we're both on a mission to help people with their, help them with data and improve processes. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.